So, we finally have details about the next Battlefield Singleplayer. I am worried as fuck, by the way. So, before we continue with all of this, there was an article that EA is very proud of that it happened because they retweeted on their main Twitter Battlefield account. So, Inverse, I guess they're like a journalistic establishment. They did an interview with a couple of lead developers, writers. I'm so sorry that I haven't checked who are these people are. Oh, creative director. Creative directors. Let's call them creative directors. Yeah, okay. So, 2 creative directors got interviewed. Wait, yeah, two. Yeah, 2. 2 creative directors got interviewed at this establishment. And they were talking about the next Battlefield Singleplayer. So, I will not read you the whole article. You can read it yourself. I'll leave it in the show notes. You can just go yourself and everything. Or you can find on the Battlefield main feed on Twitter. And they were basically talking about the next Battlefield Singleplayer game. Like any creative, like saying like, oh yeah, we kind of taken inspiration from this and this and this, and we're trying to make that and that and that, right? It's like, nothing much was said and everything. But basically, to put it short and sweet, sorry about the plane in the background. Oh, someone complained about the plane. You know what? I don't care. I will always mention that because new listeners and so on, like whatever. Don't care. Anyway, Ray, do you want to read this bit that in the show notes just because you read it?
You know I can't open the notes right now, right?
Oh yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I forgot. I forgot. Anyway, short summary. The upcoming Battlefield game is drawing inspiration from Alex Garland's film Civil War and the TV series Lioness, aiming to deliver a more grounded and emotionally resonant single-player experience. Developed by EA Motive, known for titles like Dead Space and Star Wars Squadrons, also they worked on they worked on Star Wars Battlefront 2 single-player. The game seeks to move beyond traditional military shooter tropes by focusing on talented but ordinary people put in extraordinary situations, as noted by the creative director Roman Campos Oriola. I hope I pronounced your last name properly. Executive producer Philippe Ducharme, I hope I pronounced it correctly, highlighted Civil War's influence, particularly its portrayal of journalists in navigating a fractured America, which aligns with the game's intent to explore personal stories within the conflict zones. The development team is emphasizing narrative pacing, incorporating quieter, character-driven moments alongside intense combat sequences, a technique refined during the work on the Dead Space game. Rest is just mentions that we're working with DICE and Criterion for multiplayer, so they also Motive Studios is also making multiplayer maps for DICE for the multiplayer section of the game, because if we're making a single player, maybe we can reuse some single player maps for the multiplayer, to create that cohesion or narrative, whatever the case may be.
Connection
right?
is connection,
right? Also, don't waste resources, right? If you have a map and you can use it for the multiplayer, use it. Why not, right? It just makes sense.
I mean, the work's been done. Why waste it?
Yeah. So, long story short, of course, people went to this article trying to nitpick everything from this and so on. And I'm gonna say this. I'm not excited. Well, okay, I'm excited for a good Battlefield single player. I'm really excited about that. Problem is, I was excited before they closed Ridgeline Studios in 2023 March. Was it 2023? I'm checking. 2024.
It sounds right, yeah.
A year ago.
Yeah, a year ago. Not 2 years ago.
Yeah, more than a year ago. Just like a year or 2 months ago, something like that. They closed Ridgeline Studios, a studio that was designed to make a single player portion for this new Battlefield game. They were basically designed to create this new rebooted Battlefield universe, right? Cinematic universe and stuff, right? This is our universe, this is our story, this is our background and everything. This is the Battlefield franchise, right? A fresh new start. And they brought Marcus Leto, the granddaddy of Master Chief, Halo, to spearhead this development of this Battlefield wannabe universe. That did not work out. The studio got closed down a year ago, 2024 March, and the whole development of the single-player game for the next title was given to Criterion Studios. 2 months later, EA announced that Motive is working on the single player, so they take it away from Criterion and they give it to Motive. While Criterion is gonna help in the background with whatever. So, and of course, as I read this article and they mention, oh yes, Civil War, the movie that came out in 2024, and Lioness, the TV show that came out also last year, I think. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you guys? The studio got closed last year. This new single player will take inspiration from titles. Okay, sure. No, wait. Let me finish this quote. They will take inspiration from these titles, this media that came out at the same time as the studio got closed down. Meaning, everything they worked on Ridgelight Studios, scrapped, deleted, not used, forget about.
Which means everything that we're going to get out of this is probably going to be some weird, incoherent Rust mess, which, yeah, is a legitimate worry of mine. The problem being is it's... The whole concept of them making us like this whole Battlefield universe is something like that we've been kind of saying they just need to do and get it over with. And so
we've been saying for 10 years now.
Yeah, we've been saying it forever, and now it sounds like they were going to do it. They had the people and the talent in order to do it, and I guess I'm thinking it probably just came down to Suit didn't like what somebody did, and they just went, no, we don't.
Hey, 1 second. I have an opinion on this as well.
I'm glad you have an opinion on a podcast.
Exactly, my guy,
exactly.
So remember how people were upset in Battlefield 5 about the silly-ass cosmetics and stuff like that? And how everyone praised the 4 classes and unnamed soldiers and stuff like that? And I think in the previous episode, I've also mentioned something about, having nameless soldiers is something that, you could make something up yourself and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So, Battlefield doesn't need a blockbuster campaign, in my opinion. Look at Battlefield 3. You followed a squad.
Yeah.
You followed a squad in Battlefield 3.
Okay, all right. What do you consider blockbuster experience regarding first-person shooter single player? Because I would consider that a blockbuster experience.
Having these higher-of-life kind of characters, like Captain Price, for example.
Oh, okay, I get it.
You're saying it needs to be more grounded, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, look at Battlefield 3. You played as Sergeant Blackburn, right? But it was all about your squad. You got to know each of them. You also played with some of them, not everyone, and then you also saw...
not necessarily just your squad, other members of the military as well.
Exactly, and you saw the squad's demise, and you know what happened, and the terrorist team and stuff like that. I feel like that was very grounded. And Battlefield 4 was also somewhat grounded. It wasn't really about a squad. It was like just 3 dudes. The girl, the black guy, and Sergeant whatever his name was, right?
Pack.
Oh yeah, Pack was there as well. I forgot about him.
Rest in peace.
I guess you could say it was about a squad too, but
Oh yeah, follow them. Yeah, correct. You're the 4th character. Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly. The one that never talks.
Battlefield 1 campaign, I can say that that was arguably...
But
it made
the
sense
thing is
for Battlefield 1.
Yeah. It did.
But the
5...
The thing with Battlefield 4's campaign is just that, these characters did things that, someone wouldn't or couldn't do in real life, right? It was higher than life again, in my opinion.
I mean, video games are kind of like that. That's kind of their point in the first place, though. So, I mean, that'd be my counterpoint to that. And that's probably anybody's counterpoint to that. But I get where you're getting from. That is what pretty much the franchise has always been about. It's always been about you as a soldier in the greater conflict. You are not a super soldier. You're not like the god among soldiers. You are just you. And it's about everything, the chaos and everything that can be created as you as a regular person. But we're also saying that in the exact same time about games that allow you to do wild shit like Rondazooks and other trick fuckery and launch a goddamn tank halfway across the map. So, I mean, again, at its core, it's still a video game.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's player created. But I know what you mean.
Right.
I'm all for it, but the thing is that if you sell a realistic game, you should have a grounded and believable story that is not just fairy tales. Otherwise, no one will take you seriously, but that's just my opinion.
Right, and to me, that all ended after Battlefield 1's campaign, because Battlefield 1 campaign I felt was like the last like grounded, normal, believable campaign that could happen. I mean, Jesus Christ, that mission in Italy alone was like, I mean, it was
that
good
one was
shit.
a bit exaggerated. Though.
It was a bit extra and a bit exaggerated, yeah, but I mean, it was still kind of one of those like Billy Badass moments. I mean, the game was grounded for the most part. It had to be for the era that it was, but it still allowed you to be in a video game and have some of those wild Billy Badass moments. But you get what I'm getting at? I mean, somebody could say, but none of them are 100% grounded in reality. I mean, the reality is you know, some of those guys that, you know, got fucking shell-shocked in the goddamn tank in Battlefield 4, that tank would be down and sitting on the side for a hot minute to get checked out. Like, a squad wouldn't just jump right in that bitch and run off.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's still running fine. Are you fucking kidding me? That's not protocol.
I mean, I guess
there's a lot of shit that's like that.
You know, the thing is, we could talk about this for hours, right?
But we don't want it to be Arma either, do we?
Yeah, that's true as well. But tell that to Battlefield community.
Oh, don't get me started about that.
I feel like the community is very divided by it as well.
It's an arcadey, grounded military shooter. Can we just leave it alone? Leave it at that. That's what's always made it fun. It has its most base in reality, but it doesn't. I mean, somebody could argue 2042. Oh, what are you fucking talking about that? That's warped, bent reality, but it's still kind of all hypothetical too.
Wait,
based on shit that we've
don't get me started about 2042. No, fuck that. That is some fantasy shit I don't want to hear
that
again.
is excessively wild, crazy shit. But at the same time, if you look in some of the technology that we're fucking developing with active heads-up displays and shit like that, a lot of that shit, it's not that far off.
Yeah. But going back on this
if
article,
we really want to dig into it,
yeah. Also, I think pretty sure we talked about it, like episode 6 maybe. I think we talked about storytelling. Go listen to that episode. We had a really good conversation about that. Yeah, episode 6 about why storytelling matters in Battlefield. That's a really good episode. I'm proud of that we made.
Another thing that is very much needed, in my opinion, when you have a multiple games running series, is a consistent story. You know how they brought back, I don't know his name, the black guy from Battlefield 4, I'm sorry.
Irish.
How they brought him back in Battlefield 2042, and they pretty much butchered the entire story of Battlefield 4 with 2042. At least that's what I have in that's what I recall. And also, another interesting thing is that in Battlefield 4, we saw the return of Dimitri from Battlefield 3.
Yeah, then fucking dies.
Yeah, and I don't know how he ended up in a Chinese prison. But that's another talk for another day.
Yeah, but Battlefield 4, even though it was a continuation of Battlefield 3, there was loads of like question marks, like, how did we get here and so on. Like, maybe there was some cut stuff and so on. I get
or
like
why for that matter.
Yeah. There's sometimes it was like some really questionable decisions, like why. But going back on this article, yeah, like I said, okay, great. When you're a creative director, right, you think about, like, any creative person, right, you look at inspiration, like, okay, you need to make the next Battlefield game. So, of course, you're going to go through all the war movies and think, yeah, that looks good, that looks fine. Maybe we could do something like that. Like, it's normal to go through all different media and get inspired by something. It doesn't, just because they mentioned Civil War, the movie, like, that came out last year, and that TV show that I never watched, I just saw a clip of it, and I'm like, well, I don't care. But doesn't matter. doesn't mean it's gonna be like that, but they can, like, let's say, like, take normal people, put them in some extraordinary moments, right? Sure, good, simple goal to strike, to go for characters. Makes sense, right? Because we all agree that Battlefield kind of shines better when you're playing as just a normal dude or a normal girl, right?
Yes, and I too liked the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, so I think it's a nice goal to strive for. But because they mention these media titles, that means whatever they were working on a year ago, scrapped entirely, destroyed, removed, whatever, forget about it, never happened, never existed. And because of that, I'm worried that this single player is gonna be absolute dog shit. Prove me wrong, but the signs are there. Yeah, you can talk about, put, characters, like normal people in these moments and everything, cover the war and all that kind of stuff. Great goals, great ideas. My dude, you started working on this like a year ago, not even a year ago. And we don't even know at what production stage they are. Because pre-production takes ages, right? Just because they started working on it, like, when it was announced, like, March, right? Like I said, March last year, that Criterion is going to be working on the single player. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be bare bones as hell. And then 2 months later or something like that, EA says, oh, EA Motive is making that single player game and Criterion is helping. So that means whatever Criterion was working on also scrapped because we gave it to another studio. So, and that also takes pre-production. Motive is working, okay, all right, let's figure out what we can do. 4 months, 5 months or whatever, before New Year's, some sort of pre-production. Okay, we have a plan what we want to do. January comes, okay, now we can work on this thing and try to make it, like, there's no fucking time. That's why the
Ladies
release
and gentlemen, video game development.
Yeah, this is why the autumn release date in my head doesn't make any fucking sense, because you have no fucking time.
Maybe we'll get the single player campaign later.
You know what? Not a bad idea. Why not? Release the multiplayer only and then single player later. I think that would be a nice thing. Just
You can buy it for $20. You can buy the single player campaign for $20.
If you're a free-to-play player, if you play Battle Royale only and just like, oh, single player, you can play like for, I don't know, $10-15. Why not? I mean, sure, I don't think it's going to be that profitable, though, just because people are going to watch the live streams.
No, what's going to happen is exactly that. Yeah, people are just going to be like, why should I pay the $10-15 extra for single player, which is something that used to be just included by default. It used to be the main game, and now it's the second thought. So I'm just going to sit and watch a Let's Play on YouTube about it while I play the multiplayer that I've already paid.
Unless the single player is some sort of replayable co-op mode. Unless. That's the only way I can think of.
There would have to be replayability to it, which means it would have to be exceedingly well made and the most theatrical best thing in the world to make me want to replay it, because I don't really replay single player games that often unless they're that damn good. Or a reason to. Like, New Game Pluses these days aren't even that impressive enough. So
you know what would make me go back to a single player game? Unlockable content for the multiplayer.
Well, Battlefield 4 did dog tags and guns.
And guns,
exactly.
Yeah, they do guns.
That's what I had in mind as well.
It's not a bad idea. We accepted it in the past. It wouldn't be anything I wouldn't accept now. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's kind of what needs to be there in order to sell single player in the first place. Is there needs to be content and a reason that's tied to multiplayer for it. So they need to keep that. Camos, skins, charms, whatever. Attachments, guns themselves.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm really worried about the single player for this game. Like, because, yeah, sure, the creative directors, like any person working on a creative endeavor, right? You want your work to be as best as possible, as creative as possible, exciting as possible, unless you're Bungie stealing artwork from artists. if anyone knows, everyone knows.
Hell yeah, my guy.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh god, fuck Bungie. Yeah, it's like I'm really worried about this thing because there's no time. There's literally no time to do anything good. There's no time. Yeah, listen. Godspeed, Motive. Godspeed. You do your best. But Jesus Christ, I'm so freaking worried it's gonna be an absolute shit show. Absolute disaster when it comes to single player. And
Best of luck, and I want you to know we're all counting on you.
this actually might be like the Modern Warfare 3 situation, just in Battlefield. Great multiplayer, single player, questionable, and Battle Royale maybe will be good. But I don't know, it's just like, I'm really worried. Like, and also, but the idea that, I guess it's cool, like Civil War, like in America, I guess that's what they were aiming for. Like, from the leaked concept art, there will be some maps based in America. So, that's cool. I guess a lot of people will enjoy that, I guess. But I don't know, like... I'm worried. I'm actually really worried about the single player. Other than that, I don't know what else I can add here. Just other than just like, well, Godspeed to you guys, because... Yeah.
Hope you get it right.
Yeah, hope you get it
That's all I gotta
right.
say.
Yeah, hope you get it right. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be... Oh boy, it's gonna be a fucking disaster. Just like, oh, it's gonna be dog shit.
It might not. I mean, let's not be
I mean, yeah,
100% sure.
me-
I mean, there's like that sliver of hope I still have left.
I mean, it's not like Motive actually quite talented studio when it comes to single player games. They actually know their shit.
Right, I'm
So
not worried about the people that are working on it. I'm worried about how goddamn long they've got to get her done.
Yeah.
And what they had to work with from the get-go.
But I do wonder why Ridgeline Studios got shut down and everything. I wonder what was that moment. They're like, you know what, we need to shut down this studio and take all the developers, transfer somewhere else and work on something else. Like, I wonder what the fuck happened. I really want to know what the hell happened that was not acceptable for EA. I was speculating maybe Vincent Pell and DICE were not on the same page with Marcus Leto. Maybe Marcus Leto wanted like a reboot, and DICE and other studios maybe like no, we want to continue the story or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I really would love to know what happened, and maybe we'll know one day. Maybe I will invite Marcus Leto one day, in a year or two. Like, listen, Mr. Leto, please, can you tell us what the fuck happened?
Yeah, but listen, just because you have some creative differences, you don't shut down an entire studio.
And the studio that haven't even showcased anything important and so on. Like, they were made like 2 years, and they closed after 2 years.
Bro, we know that just came down to money. It really, that's what it came down to.
I guess I don't
It
fucking
wasn't
know.
that I'm sure they had something to show, and corporate was just like, eh.
Wait, I need to find that. Like, wait, I think it's tradition now that every time we talk about single player, I have to read this quote from Ridgeline Studios website that is not active anymore. Fun fact: if anyone wants an update on that website, they finally shut down Ridgeline Studios website. Finally.
Took a while.
Took them a while, yeah. I remember when we had Westy on, and we were making fun of it, like, oh, the website is still up, right? Like, it was like 7-8 months ago. It's still up. I'm just gonna read this quote that I think should be tradition every time we talk about the single player. They said on the website, our promise. We're here to create immersive narrative experiences within the Battlefield TM franchise and bring players memorable new characters, amazing spectacle, and thrilling experiences. Of course, they will not succeed with that promise because Ridgeline Studio doesn't exist anymore, but we can put this promise on this next Battlefield single player. Still can do it.
I don't know. I don't think we can. That's different people.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
different
maybe. Maybe I'm being
circumstances.
a bit douchebaggery about it. Yeah.
It just needs to be playable at this point and passable, I guess, which sucks. I mean, because
yeah.
again, the bar's got to be lower.